If you're looking to buy or build a new construction home in Kansas City, this is one of those neighborhoods where as soon as you see it, you could very well fall in love with it. At least that's happened with a couple of my clients because of the lots, the plans, the builders that you'll find here. After you see the two homes we're going to show you in this one, could happen for you as well. We're going to start with this one, then we're going to head 3 doors down. We're going to end with house number 2. But starting with the first, it's the Solaia II by SAB Homes. 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,871 square feet. It's on a walk-up, walk-out lot, and it's currently priced at $895,000. Now, in the last couple of videos, we started with the outside. We got to do the same here because this is a very unique elevation. You've got the decorative awnings, the office right off the front with huge ceilings, as we're going to show you in a second. I love the corner windows, glass panel, garage doors, stucco, as well as lap siding, plus all of the stone. One thing that I've grown to like quite a bit, we're starting to see it quite a bit, is landscaping rocks and the blend of rocks plus mulch. One other thing that I think that really takes this to a whole nother level is you've got these exterior lights around the entire house. But heading into the front, we've got this entryway. There's just beautiful stuccoed column up top. You can see the awnings. And then what I really like, you've got these black windows and quite a few of them, and they really add to the look. So you can see the window, the transom windows above the front door here. But as we step inside, we'll give you a quick sneak peek of the main level, and then we will put the floor plan on the screen right here. Now, it was like over a year ago that we toured another home that has a very similar layout. A couple big differences. It was called the Barolo II, and it was in Century Farms, had a really nice, cozy feel to it. It was actually a 1.5 story up. This is the opposite, but a lot of similarities that I'll point out as we go throughout the video. One of the first things I want to mention, we're going to break down this builder in a moment. You're going to see a ton of upgrades in this house. And oftentimes, like the general wisdom, what you'll see online is, well, the models are always different from the spec homes that you could buy that are already under construction or already finished. With the builders in this video, that's not necessarily the case. There's not that big of a difference between them. And that's why we're focusing on those two builders in this one. So first thing is you've got this beautiful entryway, the accent walls with all of the millwork and the trim up top. Super tall ceilings. I think these are 16 feet high. You've got a box vault, white and gold light fixture in the center. And then you saw the door on the outside. It had this blue color to it, I believe. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you've got this nice darker blue color to it. And again, the windows in a house like this really add to the design and the livability. But first thing that we're going to start with, you'll see it in most reverse plans. We've got an office or could be used as a bedroom and then a full bath around the corner. This one, again, 16 feet tall ceilings. You've got the corner windows that are nearly floor to ceiling. And they also added a window right here, which they didn't have to do, but it gives you a ton of light. This just, the feel to this is hard to convey on video. You kind of got to see it in person, but super, super tall ceilings. We did a house that's like $3 million in Timber Rock in Lenexa, Kansas. It had a very similar feel to the office in it. So again, below $1 million, which you'll find here is pretty impressive. Of course, we'll kind of go quicker through this. You do have the closet here. And then around the corner, we've got a linen closet, another closet, plenty of storage in this one. This is actually the coat closet for the entry. And then you have the full bathroom. 2 things I want to note. One, the Birmingham 2, we did it a couple weeks ago. We saw a very similar color in the bathroom in the lower level. And then second is, I love this tile. To see it in a full bathroom home under $900,000 is pretty incredible. We're going to come around the corner. We mentioned the Barolo II, which was in Century Farms as well. That plan, very similar to this. This is one of the main differences between them is you have the garage entry straight back. You've got a laundry room. We're going to show you the garage because this is actually a tandem 4-car garage. You can't find that at this price in many places around Kansas City, but this is one of the select builders, one of the plans where you can make that happen. We're going to get to that here before we do the lower level. But really, the crown jewel of this plan, I think, is, at least for me, is these vaulted ceilings. They go all the way from the kitchen to this wall, which has just a ton of windows. Natural light is pouring in. And what I really like is you have an expanded deck. So you saw that footage, the rear elevation at the beginning of the video, but this vault continues out to the deck. And then you've got the decorative beam accent up top. But centering our focus back to the great room, we've got beautiful tile on this fireplace. We're going to give you a close-up. We're starting to see way more 3D tile, textured tile, and it just adds a nice element to the house. But if you look at the light fixtures, you'll notice they're matte black, gold accents. You'll see a mix of that as we go throughout. I love that they added the built-ins here on either side. You've got the accent color to create some contrast. And then, of course, they are floating, which adds a nice element on top of that. Again, we will break down the builder. I think their designs are pretty incredible. Like, it is really, really tough to beat, which you'll see throughout this home. But the dining room, we're gonna get to the kitchen in a moment. Dining room, you've got a ton of space here. Some reverse plans, especially when they're below 3,000 square feet, sometimes this area in a lot of plans can feel a little tight. In this one, you've got a ton of room. Staging furniture is appropriately sized for the space. You could fit bigger if you wanted. I love that in a lot of this builder's plans, they'll do this recessed hutch area. What we started to see them do recently is adding more tile accents, sometimes to the entry of a home, sometimes as an accent wall, sometimes it's floor to ceiling on the staircase like we did in a video a couple weeks ago. I love the windows up top. And then if you look at the ceiling, box vault, and they've taken the hardwood flooring and added that as an accent up there. Huge slider. This is extra wide. It's bigger than we'd see in most homes. It's also 8 feet tall. But coming outside, this is one of my favorite things about it, is actually that rear elevation, the clip we showed at the beginning of the video. You have this huge expanded deck, which this builder does in a couple different plans. And then you've got the sunken patio down below. They fenced everything in. You've got the wrought iron rail, the composite decking. That's a big deal. And I mention it in every video because this stuff is so low maintenance and it's way better, especially at this price. You want to see it as opposed to like a treated lumber that you have to stain and treat and seal every year or so. So that's a big deal. But having this much space outside, very, very impressive. Again, we mentioned you've got the vaulted ceiling up top. I love the beams, the detail there. And you, of course, have the fixture right off this slider. But already, the outdoor living in this house, really, really impressive. I don't know how you could find a home that really tops that if that's what you're looking for. But we are going to get to the kitchen next. You got a great sized island here. I love the decorative trim, that accent you see on the face of it. You've got cabinets on both sides, upgraded faucet. This is beyond what you'd see in a lot of homes as standard, but all the way around, kitchen layout is great. You've got perimeter space. Of course, you've got the upgraded gas cooktop right here. It's actually 6 burner. They went ahead. It actually costs extra to do this. Normally it just comes in stainless steel, but you can get these gold or champagne bronze knobs. They did the same thing right over here, the handle on the stacked microwave cafe oven here. And we'll show you one more spot that they did it, is the dishwasher as well. So typically to get this look, they have to take the original off, order an entirely new handle, which are not inexpensive, and then have them installed. But around the corner, we do have a pantry that's way deeper than it seems, automatic lights that just flicked on. And of course, it's all enameled, which is a very high quality paint. I love this. It adds a whole new dimension to the kitchen. You've got the glass cabinet doors, the tile backsplash, just a really sharp look. And one thing that I want to reference and kind of tie back to, it's not just like the lighting you see, but the contrast between that tile and what you see right here, it all just blends so nicely. It's very, very tasteful. But around the corner, we have the master suite. In this one, again, you're going to see quite a few accents, but they took the hardwood floors in here, which is really nice. A lot of time around Kansas City, builders will charge extra to do something like this. It's typically carpet. Up top, we've got the upgraded light fixture here. I say upgraded because it's matte black. You've got the gold accent, and then you've got the trimmed box vault ceiling. But we'll give you another shot of it just so you can get the perspective as much as we can on video. A lot of these homes, you get to see them in person, but this should give you a little bit of a taste. You've got pretty good amount of space, ton of light pouring in here. And then as we head into the bathroom, one of my favorite tiles, I think we've seen them do this in another home, but this tile, this specific texture kind of looks like those acoustic slats. It's got a little bit of fluting in it, but super nice to see. I love that they took it floor to ceiling. It creates, again, you've got that black-white contrast, freestanding tub, champagne bronze hardware, and then around the corner, we've got the granite top window for more natural lights, completely private, which is nice to see. And then, of course, you've got the two fixtures hanging down. Water closet with a pocket door. Space is a little bit more efficient there. Then, of course, we've got the shower. And again, you'll see that contrast between the darker tile, the lighter tile, and the gold hardware. Finally, the last piece of this, and I'll trade spots with you, Alex, is we have the closet, which, keep in mind, we showed you the 16 feet tall ceilings in that office. You've got the same ceiling heights in the closet, pull down racks, storage, hanger space, and we are going to head around the corner. Because one of the bonuses, one of the big perks of this plan, you saw it on the screen at the beginning, this has a tandem fourth car garage. And not many homes around Kansas City is this an option in. A lot of times, if you want like a true 4-car garage, you'd have to go up to like a 1.5, sometimes even higher to get that feature. But there are a number of builders around Kansas City that we've seen start to incorporate this. It's been a growing demand, and SAB is one of those. We did the Wheeler Homes in Southern Meadows. It was a 1.5 story plan. They've got a reverse plan that does something very similar. SAB has like a whole catalog of plans that can do this. And a couple of things that stand out to me: garage door opener already installed. You've got the glass panel garage doors that you saw on the exterior. It just lights up the whole space. We've got a couple light bulbs on in here. Otherwise, it's all natural lighting. They went ahead and epoxied the entire floor. They went up to the curb around the foundation. And turns out, yes, you can epoxy steps even if they're wood. So that's a really nice option to have. But this is a true tandem fourth car garage. You can see the depth there. So whether you need the extra garage space, whether you have additional cars, you want to fit a car lift in here, you do have the height to do something like that. But gym, workspace, woodworking, etc., ton of uses for something like this. And again, you're not going to see it in a lot of new construction homes around Kansas. Sometimes you have to build in order to get something like that, which is one of the nice things about this builder. Finally, last thing before we get to the lower level, we've got the laundry room here with pattern tile. And then, of course, we have the boot bench. I love that they did this paneled accent. You got the cubbies above, below. They went ahead, installed the hooks. And of course, we've got our second coat closet. One thing that I like to point out, sometimes you'll see a mudroom or garage entry completely separate. It's another end of the house from the front door. And this all leads to the same spot. So this is right where we started at the front entry there. But I do want to take a second before we get to the lower level to break down this builder, because we feature them on this channel. And no matter where you're at in Kansas City, whether you're in Johnson County, whether you're in Shawnee, Kansas, like we are right now, whether you're north of the river in Kansas City, Missouri, whether you're in Lee Summit, this is one of the biggest builders in Kansas City. And if you're looking to buy or build a home around this price point, you're inevitably going to run into them. And one of the things that really makes them stand out, you can see at this home, the finishes, the level of detail. We've showed a number of their spec homes that are not models where you'll see the same level of finishes throughout. But one of the big things is when you look at bigger builders around Kansas City, usually the more homes they build, the less customization you can do. And usually the bigger difference you'll see between their models with all of the upgrades and their spec homes that are just the standard features. This builder does a very good job of balancing all of that. They're highly customizable. They've got a design center in the upstairs level, the upper level of their office. You can do a ton of customizations down to even adding a copper sink, like one of my clients who built north of the river earlier this year. But on top of that, the other thing I really like is that they include a lot of upgrades that many other builders charge for. It's a totally free guide. It's at the top of the description below. It walks you through one of the biggest issues you might run into with new construction, which is actually comparing builders, because all of them have different included features. Some of them you'll see lower base price, but less included. So by the time you get everything you want, you could be in a whole different price bracket than you planned on. Then you've got other builders like SAB where you'll find they include quite a bit for the money you're spending. But any questions buying, building, new construction home in Kansas City, there are hundreds of local builders here in Kansas City. It is not always easy to find the best one for you or compare them apples to apples. That's what I specialize in. I'm a licensed real estate agent in Kansas, Missouri. Love to put all of this information to work for you. And oftentimes when people reach out, it takes like one phone call and we can get a pretty good idea of a good group of builders to go look at for you to buy or build from. So with that said, we will put the lower level plan on the screen right here. The feel of this one is incredible. We're going to get to that sunken patio, but starting with the staircase, you do have the upgraded carpet. I like that they did the darker rail, and then you've got the hardwood landing. But once you get down here, the feel is pretty impressive. And another thing that you'll find in the guide at the top of the description is completely free is we break down lot types, which this would be a daylight lot. You might have some daylight windows. It could even partially be considered a flat lot depending on who's building and who's looking at it. But they went ahead and forced a walkout, which is why you have the sunken patio down here. And it completely transforms how this lower level feels. The reason I bring that up is because earlier this year, I had a client building where every single lot we looked at, it had to be a walkout, it had to have a tree line in the back, and it needed to face west. We looked at a number of lots that were all priced around the 200s. It wasn't until we looked at a daylight lot where we were able to swing a walkout lower level where we found it for like 120, 125, which cut 60 to 70 grand off the price right from the get-go. But we're going to show you the bedrooms first, and then we're going to get to the wet bar and the main space down here. So if you're seeing the footage on the screen, bedroom number one, you're facing east. You're facing the backyard here. You've got a ton of light pouring in. Upgraded carpet on the floor, which I really like to see. I think a lot of times what you'll see in new construction is just like a high pile carpet. So this higher tread stuff is really feels much better. It'll last a much longer time. The full bathroom right here, gold hardware down. You've got the tile on the shower. One of the other things that this builder does is sometimes at this price point, you'll see cultured marble tops, especially in secondary bedrooms. This builder is really good about including granite, including quartz. And one thing you'll notice if you're building is sometimes what is standard is, a selection of tops that maybe you wouldn't want, and maybe to get what you'd want, you'd have to pay extra for. SAB, I think they've got some really good options to choose from without having to pay any upgrades or incur that expense. But bedroom number two here, again, same deal, upgraded carpet. You've got the walk-in closet around the corner. And we are going to head to the lower level rec room, specifically the wet bar. This is pretty impressive. At this price, in this area of Kansas City, not every day that you're gonna see this. Usually what we'll see is a walk-up bar. You've got the whole peninsula right here. Beautiful light fixture. And then on the back, you've got this vertically laid tile. I love this shelf. You've got the mirror in the center of it, which is a very neat look. Again, the designs that this builder comes up with, they do such a great job. There is a spot around the corner back there for a beverage cooler. And then these cabinet doors, these are pretty good size. They're all shaker panel. But as we make our way around the corner, Alex, if you kind of like swing and show this wall right here, you've got this paneling. It's a darker accent, so it creates some contrast. It also creates some texture. Again, everything ties together. You see the vertical pattern here, the vertical pattern on the backsplash on that wet bar that we showed. This is a great space. You got a ton of light coming in. One thing that I should have mentioned is they already installed the window treatments. That's typical for model homes. Sometimes we'll see that, but that's also nice to see. I've got to unlock this here. We're going to head outside. 8-foot door is double, it's extra wide as well. And then this is something that we almost never see until you get to like a 1.2, 1.5, and even higher price points than that. As you can see in the drone footage, they went ahead, they added this fence around, so if you've got kids, you don't have to worry about them falling into the sunken patio. Well, this did require a retaining wall. The nice thing is, and so a lot of times what you'll see is builders will do just the standard foundation wall out here. This adds a nice element to it, but on top of that, I've kind of grown to like the sunken patio feel slightly more than your traditional walkout where you're right out ground level at grade in the backyard from the lower level, because it gives you a little bit more privacy, especially if you've got neighbors behind you. So we do have a few steps up. I like that these are also the stone. You've got the wrought iron rail, and then surrounding this entire patio down here, you've got the landscaping rocks, mulch, and plenty more on top of that. Before we get to house number 2, we have 2 items to discuss. One is going to be the community. We'll talk about it on our way to house number 2. But the first one is a question that I've been getting from a lot of you who view these videos and are interested in new homes in Kansas City, a lot of times from my own clients. What we're starting to see right now across social media, we have been for quite a few years, is videos like this.
Look at this.
Doesn't even have cooling. These need rain caps.
That it raises some important questions about the quality you see in new construction homes. But one of the big distinctions between a lot of the homes that are featured in those clips, which many instances are in like a Texas and Arizona, some parts of Florida, where they're building houses very, very quickly in large numbers, a lot of national builders behind those. And instead of taking 10 to 14 months like it would take here, depending on the size, the complexity, the changes you make, a lot of time in the homes you see in those videos, they're going up in about 6 months, sometimes even less than that. They're going up very, very quickly, but it does raise some concern. So one of the big things here in Kansas City is that we have hundreds of local home builders. That's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is it gives you a lot of options. There's a lot of competition in our market. You're not locked to choosing between like 5 different big regional or national builders. And while we do have those here, you're not going to find them a lot of times at this price point. And even here, they're not building thousands of homes a year at most. They're building a few hundred homes a year. But most builders in Kansas City, you're going to find they're building sometimes less than 10 homes, a lot of times less than 50 homes a year, which is a huge, huge difference. The second thing, at least what you'll see in Kansas City, and I've noticed this as we've toured different homes, some of my clients, they're not all buying new construction homes. Sometimes they're comparing between new construction and pre-existing homes. Sometimes they don't want new construction at all, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense for them. But what I've noticed comparing the two options, new versus pre-existing homes, there's a big difference in the level of finish that you see in this video today versus if you were to go into a home in many different price points that was built before 2019. I think after that time period, builders really stepped up the value they're putting in homes. People have been spending more time in their homes. Work from home has become a bigger thing. And as a result, you get the level of finish that you see here. So the big takeaway, tons of different builders to choose from here in Kansas City. It keeps the quality high. For the most part, it keeps a lot of bigger national, regional builders out of our market. And the second thing is that the level of finishes we're starting to see, it's getting up there like this, below $1 million based on today's pricing is really, really impressive. And if you watch some of the other videos we've shown on the channel, you'll see exactly why that's the case. Now, second, we've got to break down this community. It is one of my favorites in this part of Kansas City. You've got beautiful, some of the best lots, beautiful elevation changes. You're seeing the treetops and the drone footage. A lot of these are cul-de-sac lots, a lot of them back up to a tree line. You oftentimes have a walkout, or you can force one like you saw in this house. And I've had this same thing happen with two different clients who we were looking at different communities around town. And there's one video I made like almost a year ago, to date exactly, where I started the video with, if I was going to buy or build a home in Kansas City, this is where I'd do it. I saw that video, we had to come out here, and now they've got some beautiful lots and they're building some beautiful homes. What you have to know about this one, it's 4 distinct different neighborhoods, 4 different types of housing options. On the Lenexa side, which this is split between Lenexa and Shawnee, you have the twin villas, which start in the 550s. Those are built by Lambie Homes. You have the detached villas. Oftentimes you'll see a 3-car garage. There are a couple with a 2-car garage. Those start in the 600s. They go all the way up to 900, sometimes even more than that. Those are both sections of that neighborhood. They're maintenance provided. I'll put the HOA on the screen right here. The villas, most of them are built by J.S. Robinson Fine Homes and Don Julian Builders, but I believe they are open to outside builders as well. The section we're in, this whole street here, we've got 3 new model homes. This is called the Manors. They're priced from the 700s all the way up. They've got some absolutely beautiful lots. In a lot of communities, the Manors, oftentimes you're going to find a lower price point than the estates. Something else you'll find in a lot of other communities, sometimes the lots are quite a bit smaller. The lots here are very big, as you can see on the drone footage, especially for this price point. This is open to approved outside builders. And then of course the estates we featured on our channel a number of different times. That is Don Julian, J.S. Robinson Fine Homes. We've got several beautiful lots that I would say, after touring a lot of communities, are some of the best in Kansas City. This is absolutely worth checking out if you're looking for that level of feel, views, privacy, and more. But we are going to head to house number 2. It is the Cypress by J.S. Robinson Fine Homes. It's 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 3,367 square feet. It is currently priced at $915,750. And before we go inside, we're going to start with the exterior, just like we did for house number 1. First thing that you'll see, this is actually the sales model. So they've got the office inside the garage. That's why you're seeing it finished this way. Once this goes on the market and it's for sale, they'll convert it back. You'll see the garage doors. So if you ever come across that, that's what's going on here. But the elevation of this one, we actually did a few months back. Riverstone Valley, it's another community that J.S. Robinson builds in. We showed this same model. We're going to show it to you today because you can see it in 2 different locations. You can see the difference in the price point in the finishes. I love the standing seam metal roof here. You've got the stone on the front. And their models, they tend to do quite a bit of additional exterior landscaping. Every community, you'll have a certain amount they require you to spend on the landscaping. They've gone well above and beyond that amount. And being on the corner, I like that they added all of the arborvitae there, or tailored junipers. I don't know my landscaping very well, but I certainly know that's above what you'd be required to put in. They also have added the larger landscaping rocks. You do have the fountains right here, which is really, they're not on because it's starting to get colder. But heading inside, you've got the good sized front porch, decorative glass on the oversized front door. And this is the view as soon as you walk inside. We're going to give you a sneak peek of this one. It also has vaulted ceilings, a loft upstairs, a bonus office on the main level. We will put the floor plan on the screen right here. One thing you'll notice, I'll link below the other video we did on the same model. One thing you'll notice is the layout is flipped, and that is because when you're building a home, the garage typically goes on the high side of the lot. So that's why on this one, it's on the left side. On the model, you see in the previous video I'm referencing, it was on the right side. I just wanted to clear that up. But the entryway, I love that the staircase wraps around here. 2-story ceilings give you a ton of volume. You can see all of the light coming in from those windows up top. And then I love that they added the trim and millwork along this entryway. This is set up really nicely We'll show you the staircase goes in two different directions. One way is to the loft, the other way is to the additional bedrooms. But we are going to get started with this great room here because it is a key part of the plan. Two-story ceilings, which is great to see. A lot of people are looking for that. And sometimes we're starting to see these with two-story homes where the master's upstairs, and this one, master's on the main floor, and this just creates a ton of volume. You can see above me back here, you got catwalk on both sides of these, so it's more open. You can see, monitor what's going on upstairs if you've got some younger kids. And then in here, very similar to house number one, we've got the wall of windows overlooking the porch out there. It's a pretty good size. You're gonna see the fire pit in just a moment. But really, this fireplace, 2 stories. I love the surround on it. You've got the tile inside, and then to the left, you have the floating built-in stained top, floating shelves. Everything's lit up, which is nice to see. And then, of course, you've got a very tasteful light fixture in the center, which is gold. And one thing I talked about in last week's video, which was on their brand new model home in East Village, it had all of the things inside of it. One thing you'll notice when it comes to gold hardware is that all the manufacturers have a different color of gold. Sometimes it's champagne bronze, other times it's gold, other times it's brushed brass. This builder does a really good job of matching. There are some builders you'll walk through where you'll see the air switch on the island for the garbage disposal is like gold, and then the actual faucet might be champagne bronze. And that clashes, and that's something that would just like bug me every single day. But this builder does a great job of blending everything, making sure it matches. This kitchen, I think they do very, very well. You can see the 2 fixtures here. You do have the composite sink installed, quartz countertops, and then along the back, what we've seen them do in their recent model called the Avila is you'll see this 2-tone cabinet. So you'll see some of the cabinets, maybe the hood, that are like a white oak or a stain, a lighter stain, and then you'll see the white perimeter cabinets on top of that. I think it's a good look. It breaks up what we've seen a lot in recent years, which is the white kitchens. Those are starting to go away. We're starting to see a lot more of this, but you've got this vertical tile on the backsplash, beautifully sized perimeter, and then you've got the upgraded gas cooktop right here. Around the corner, you'll see the stacked profile microwave and oven. I love that you've got this additional perimeter space. They're pretty good about adding the beverage fridge in here. Of course, you've got the floating shelves, tile backsplash goes all the way to the ceiling, as do the cabinets throughout here. And we're gonna start here before we get to the dining and the bonus office, because we do have a ton of built-ins. I wanted to show this to you. So you've got one on either side of this entry into the kitchen, plenty of shelving. Straight back, we've got the boot bench. I love that the top is stained. Again, you're seeing that kind of 2-tone look throughout the house. The coat closet right here off of the garage entry. Then around the corner, we have a half bath. A lot of times you'll see a full bath here because many times they try to make the office into its own separate bedroom. This plan has a bonus office space plus the 4 bedrooms. So we've got the master on this level, the bonus office, 3 bedrooms up, and then right around the corner, we got a great size pantry, spice racks, face frame shelving. You've got the prep top with the quartz right there. And then one thing that I want to mention, especially because the theme of this video is like homes under $1 million, but still finishes that feel like it. And sometimes, in many cases, more than that. One of the big ones you'll see at that price point that's nice to see at this one is you've got these 8-foot tall doors. It just creates a little bit more volume. It complements these 2-story ceilings very nicely. If you're building, that's one of the things that I would check and see the price on. But coming around the corner, this is pretty neat. This is all windows. You've got a massive slider right here. It's 8 feet tall as well. And then right here, you've got the 3 picture windows, just a ton of light flooding in here. The space itself, very good size. A lot of the time staging furniture tends to be really small, so it makes the space look really big. This is a very appropriately sized table, and I think it's very indicative of what you could actually put in here that you'd actually use if you were living here, not just if it was a model. So I think the space here is great, but this is one of my favorite parts of the plan. Is in addition to all of the bedrooms, The first thing is you've got these French pocket doors, like an opaque matte glass panel. Of course, you can see the dark enamel. I think that's really sharp because I'm going to put a clip of the fireplace on the screen. Again, you're seeing that contrast, similar to what we saw in house number one. But as you come in here, the light fixture, again, you've got the black plus gold. You've got the hardwood floors carried in here. And then around the corner, we've got the double door closet there. But really nice space to have. And the other thing that I should point out is that this is tucked behind the garage entry. It's on the opposite side from the Massa, so it gives you that level of privacy, especially if you do use this as an office. But heading outside, we're gonna put a drone clip on the screen so you can get a feel for what the outdoor living is like. But I love that you've got this vaulted, covered porch right here, the tall ceilings. You've got the outdoor fan. This is a concrete slab right here. And then you've got a gentle step down in the corner. I really love to see this. They do this a lot in their models, is you have the outdoor fire pit. I love that you've got the retaining wall around there. The landscaping complements it very, very nicely. And that is just it's a unique space to have that we don't always see with homes at this price point. The other thing that's pretty nice about this one is the size of the lots. Like even in this shot, you can see the depth on these, a little deeper than you'd see in most, especially for like a Manners neighborhood below $1 million. But heading back in, you can see the stepping stones, just very, very tasteful, very well done. But we are going to break down the builder. I will put clips on the screen, some of the homes that we've gone through. We've gone through many of their homes right here in Bristol Highlands. My personal favorite is the Del Mar on the tree line with a beautiful walkout lot. It had a retaining wall in the back. That is just right down the street from where we are right now. We toured the Avila model in East Village of Leawood just last week, which was beautiful. The lower level was incredible. It had all of the bells and whistles. We also have toured homes like the Aspen II, which is like down the street. It's now occupied, but beautiful home as well, and several others. J.S. Robinson Fine Homes, they build mostly in Johnson County. They also build in Lockwood. And one of the major reasons why is because how good they are at doing custom builds. One of my clients who's building with them here, we went in for a build meeting, and they've got the plans out, they've got stencil paper, and Jeff Robinson, he's drawing out the floor plan in real time. We're making changes as we go. It's a great process, and their team, very, very responsive. So when we had requested pricing on a couple items, it was like in the meeting, they were able to produce that in just a matter of minutes. I can't promise that's the case for every item, but it was very, very quick turnaround. So they do a great job, again, comparing builders in Kansas City. It is not always easy, at least on the surface or when you're looking online, because not all of the options are out there. I'd love to connect you with some of the best builders in Kansas City. So feel free to give me a phone call, text message, email. We'll set you up for success. We are going to head around the corner to the master suite here. We've got the laundry room and the closet on one side. And then we've got, and to the left, we actually have the master bedroom. What I love here is that fire pit that we saw outside. You've got this view of it with the 3 windows. The 2 on the outside are casement windows. They crank open. They're more energy efficient because they have a weather seal all the way around. You don't have anything obstructing your view. So just a really nice look to see. You've got the box vault for a little bit more volume. They've added 4 recessed lights. A lot of builders, what you'll find is their standard electrical layout. It usually has 1 fixture in the center, which you can put a fan with a light, but oftentimes those recessed lights are something you have to upgrade. It's nice to see in here. You've got the accent wall with the trim work on the back. It's that darker color. We've seen a couple other spots throughout the house, and of course, they carried the hardwood floors in here, so it's not like a carpet, which you'd see as standard in a lot of homes. This bathroom, super nice to see. You've got the freestanding tub, this larger format tile going floor to ceiling, the picture window, and then on the other side, we've got this wall-to-wall vanity. They've got the tower in the middle, the framed mirrors installed, black hardware. You've got the gold poles and handles and the cabinets, the light fixtures. And then right over here, this is a beautiful shower. You've got the Euro glass panel with the rail. And then you've got a pretty good sized bench, rain head, window, and additional head as well. To the left, we've got the water closet. This master closet is very impressive because you've got all faced frame shelving. And when I say face frame shelving, this is what you'd see is the trim on the face of it instead of the rounded corners. And then you've got the bench right in front, which is great. Windows overlooking the front of the house. And then what we're starting to see quite a bit is actually adding a dresser. I like that the top is stained, cabinets are painted. You've got the gold hardware again. This is one of my favorite tiles in one of my favorite configurations, the herringbone. It feels like a natural surface stone. So when you're walking on it, you can feel that texture. And then of course, you've got the quartz top, hanging space, and then you've got the built-in. But we are going to put the floor plan for the upper level on the screen right here. This one's really unique. It's got a loft, it's got 3 bedrooms, and it's not always the case that we'll see the 2-story ceilings like we saw in the great room here and a loft, because usually the ceilings are dropped down a little bit to create space for it. But they've come up with a great solution on this plan. I love that you've got the upgraded carpet, the trim work, floor, all the way up to the ceiling. That way is the bedrooms. We're going to start with the loft over here. This could be made into a bedroom. You could add a full bathroom to it if you'd like, but this is a really great space to have. It could be a media room. It could be a game room. You've got plenty of space, good ceiling heights in here. And then you can see the closet where I believe a bathroom could be added. We'll flip that light on. You can see a ton of storage back there. But overall, really nice space to have. And again, it's fairly uncommon to see 2-story ceilings plus the loft. Not many plans will have that. But coming back down and up again, we've got 3 more bedrooms. I love what they do in this one. If you've got kids that like to read, or maybe if you like to read, this is so neat. You've got the green color there, reading nook, shelving on both sides, of course, the casement windows. And I also like that this layout is not your typical just standard rectangle. You've got some dimension to this room, and it's actually pretty big. Ceilings might be like 9.5 feet. They feel a little bit taller than most. A lot of times the second floor, you're gonna have 8-foot ceilings. So these are almost a foot beyond that. And then what you'll notice is, actually I'm gonna trade spaces, just trade spots with you. You've got the vanity with a quartz top, shower around the corner. And then on the other side, you have a pretty well-sized walk-in closet. But we are going to head to bedroom number 2. And right before we get to it, one of the things that I want to showcase is the great room. We always like to give you another view from upstairs. This is from the catwalk. This is just so nice to see. It makes the house feel way bigger than it is. I really appreciate tall ceilings, which a lot of times one of the only ways you can get the tall ceilings like this is with new construction. Straight back, you've got the linen closet. And in these 2 bedrooms, they have a Hollywood-style bath. So closets around the corner here. They give you the box vaulted ceiling for that added height and to make it feel bigger. And then when I say Hollywood bathroom, a lot of times what you'll notice is Jack and Jill sometimes are very tight. They do a great job of making this feel pretty big. So you've got the vanity here. And then as you enter this next one, we've got the shower, which you've got a vertically laid tile. You also have the tub in there. And they even managed to fit another closet in here, which is really impressive. Ton of space, again, for a Hollywood bathroom. And then you've got the closet for bedroom 3 upstairs to the left. And an extra wide vanity here to the right. They carried the tile floor in here. And this is our final bedroom. All of them great size, especially for the square footage and the price. But that is all for this one. Big thank you to Heather and Rob, the listing agents here at Bristol Highlands. Big thank you to SAB Homes, J.S. Robinson Fine Homes for letting us tour these. As always, any questions buying, building a new construction home in Kansas City, there are hundreds of different builders to choose from, several communities that you sometimes can't find online. And the same thing goes for some of the best lots, builders, and also homes that are already under construction. Love to make sure you've got access to all of your options before you spend this amount of money. So feel free, give me a phone call, text message, email, and we'll set you up for success. With that said, there are two things on the screen. This is a playlist of every single video we've made right here at Bristol Highlands. There are some great ones in there, so I'd check it out. This is the video YouTube thinks you'd enjoy the most. So click there or here, and we'll see you on the other side.